Welcome to Introduction to Module 2 for Week 2 for Principles of Microeconomics at Thomas More College. As a brief outline of what this lecture is, we'll be talking about what the module is about this week, the big ideas and learning objectives behind this, and what graded work to expect for this module. This module digs a little bit deeper into markets. Specifically, we're going to explore what an equilibrium is and how that equilibrium might change if market conditions change. So you can break these down into three major topics for the module. First is markets. We'll explore what an equilibrium is, and perhaps most importantly, answer the question, does a firm really choose its price or not? Second, we'll explore what happens when market conditions change, what happens when supply changes or demand changes, or what happens when they both change at the same time. Finally, we're going to move on from markets and begin to explore a new tool called elasticity. So before in markets, when we have changes in markets, we could say that quantity changes or price changes, but this will get a little bit more robust information. For example, how much does quantity demanded change when price changes? How responsive are buyers to changes in price? And perhaps most importantly, what are the implications of that responsiveness for a firm's revenue? Should a firm increase its price or decrease its price if it wants to increase revenue? The answer to that will depend on whether consumers are very responsive or not very responsive to price changes. Our second big idea for this module is that in a competitive market, prices are determined by the interaction of buyers and sellers. The learning objectives of this module are to describe the concept of market equilibrium and market disequilibrium, and use graphical models to illustrate what happens to price and/or quantity when the market conditions change. We'll also move on to big idea number 3 in this module. How much an agent responds to incentives has important implications for efficiency. We're not going to get to the efficiency part of that story yet, but this week we'll use a tool called elasticity to describe how consumers respond to changes in price. This week we have a new type of graded work called a review and reflect. Each week now you will review and reflect on the previous week's quiz. This gives you an opportunity to correct any misunderstandings that you might still have. And that's pretty important in this course because all of the content in this course builds on previous content. You will also have a discussion question called Sales and Equilibrium, a content engagement on a market and equilibrium, another content engagement on changes in markets, an Apply assignment, a discussion on the determinants of price elasticity of demand, a content engagement on elasticity of demand, and then some practice exercises with the total revenue rule. Finally, just as last week, you will have a quiz that will be a summative assessment of what you know from this week.